you hear me? Please just write in the chat box so I can make sure that you are listening to me. Yes, thank you, Rayan. Thank you, everyone. So today I am the host of the webinar. My name is Umair Iftihar, and I hope to deliver and communicate with attendees to their expectation. Today webinar title is "There is nothing wrong being agile, or is everything is wrong being agile?" It is a very important topic, and I it is pleasure to announce the founder and the CEO of EDU HubSpot with over a decade of experience in PMP certification training. He has various experience in industries including e-commerce, automobile, and non-profitable sector. Through EDU Spot, he has trained thousands and earning respect in the project management. Today, he will share invaluable insight from his extensive experience, guiding us toward the excellence in project management. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Varun Anand. Yes, Mr. Varun.
Hi.
Hi, Mr.
Hello,
Varun.
everyone. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much, Umair. Now, you must be wondering, what is this guy doing coming on a bike and that too inside a building? I mean, it's my office, of course, but you must be wondering about that, right? So I'll give you a specific reason why I did that. Now, what I do typically in my everyday is when I start my day, I look at my calendar. I look at things like, what all meetings to have. And typically it's like, all day it's in back-to-back meetings. And then I saw that, I have a webinar today. And I looked at the time and I said that, wow, this webinar is quite late. And, for somebody, who is in KSA, this must be late for them. And then I said, okay, 11 o'clock in midnight. So if somebody is joining a webinar at 11 o'clock, almost like midnight, there has to be specific reason for that, right? Either they love PMI, they love project management, or, there has to be some specific reason for that. And then I was like, first of all, let me respect each and everyone who has joined the webinar at this point of time. Hats off to you. I know Ramadan is going on, and after the entire day of work, it's all everybody is tired. So let me promise you one thing. And this is a very big claim I'm about to say, and that too before the start of the webinar. I thought I need to catch everybody's attention. I need to tell people that, hey, you know what? This is the best webinar you would ever attend. And yes, I'm saying that. And I'm saying this as a big claim, and that too before the start of the webinar. I wanted to make sure that I respect your time. And at the same time, you would learn so much valuable information today in this webinar that we all will enjoy. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you, the KSA chapter, for inviting me here. And we're going to discuss about the Agile. So give me a minute. Let me get this started. And then we will. So amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay. So when we start the webinar, what typically happens, right? Like when I attend a webinar, there are a few things I always like to take care of. Like, for example, I look at somebody's LinkedIn profile. Like that's how I would do. Let me start with share. So let's say this webinar is about Agile. And this webinar is, you go to LinkedIn, look at the profile of the person who's doing this. So somebody will look at this profile and they'll say that this guy, even though he's smiling, but he looks quite serious, right? So the serious people who look at this LinkedIn profile, they'll say that, okay, this guy looks good. I mean, looks good in the sense like, somebody who would deliver information. Top project management voice, around 34,000 followers. So I would learn something valuable for sure. Okay. So that is one set of people. Then other set of people will say that, who will look at this profile and will say that, really, at 11 o'clock, where I could have been thinking about somebody or I could have been in my bed relaxing, I really have to look at this person? No, 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 no. I don't want any technical knowledge for that. So let's get started and let me share my. I will promise you this that this is going to be the best, best, best webinar. Okay. No, it's just suitable. Your voice had echo. Rami, I'm assuming now it is absolutely correct. So core of Agile be like this. Exactly, Ryan. And that was the whole thought process that we need to be flexible, right? What is Agile? agile means to be flexible, to come up with changes. And then I thought that, you know what, let me make an entry like this, a core responsibility of being agile, so that we can get started. So if you want to get connected with me on LinkedIn, this is my LinkedIn link. I have typed it on the chat, and we all can get connected. I talk about PMP, I talk about project management, I talk about agile, and overall, I talk about motivation. That is something which defines me. So let me ask one specific question. Who all of you in this webinar today have real agile experience? And when I say real agile experience, I mean you have worked on agile projects, like projects using agile methodology. Type yes or no on the chat. Have you really worked on agile? I don't care if you're a CSM certified or a CSPO certified. Those are like, I also know that. Okay. Mohammed said no. Nafisa said yes. Seher said yes. Mohammed said no. Ala said yes. Jihad said no. Kareem said no. Okay. Rayan said not real agile. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. And I see a lot of people are talking to host and panelists. Um, so host and panelists, not everyone can see your responses. So please change your settings to everyone so that everyone can see. Okay, Ali said no, Mustafa said no, Husam said yes. Okay, so we have like a mixed crowd, right? Okay, now whosoever said yes to me, let me tell you one thing. Today in this webinar, I'm going to talk about what is fake agile and what is the real agile. And then we need to see that, are you really working in agile, or I mean, is it a fake agile, how I would describe, right? Abdullah said no. Okay, thank you, Luna. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So this is me. My name is Varun, the founder and CEO of Video HubSpot. It's a platform that gives, helps people to pass the certification exams, PMP, CAPM, program management, PFMP. So if you talk about any certification exam, I have done almost all of them. I know on the screen it looks a little different, but I have only 3, 4, but I have done much more certifications than this. The boy who is sitting in my lap, that's my son. He's my 3-year-old son, and yeah, the love of my life. That's how I would say. And thank God my wife is not listening to this, but yes. Okay, let's get started. So amazing. So what we're going to discuss today, we will talk about agile. So a lot of people said that they have no experience of agile, right? They don't work in agile projects. Fair enough. So let's start briefly about the agile. What exactly are agile, right? How people perceive what agile is. Then we will talk about the agile manifesto. What does the manifesto of agile explains what in reality is agile? And then we'll do a brief intro about the agile teams, the different roles in agile teams, the leadership, what type of leadership we have in agile. And finally, we will talk about the fake agile, which is my favorite topic if you ask me, fake agile, because everybody thinks that we are kind of working in agile, but it's in reality it is not. Varun, your audio is breaking up sometime. Oh, Mohammed, I don't know if it is the case with you or it is the case with me. Is my audio correct? Can you please type it on the chat? I'm not sure it is at my end or it is at Mohammed's end. Can you please tell me? Can you type? Is my audio clear? Audio is fine. Okay, thank you, Nafisa. Thank you, my dear friend. Mohammed, most likely it may be an issue at your end, but I think it's fine. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Abdullah. Thank you. And please, if you have welcoming change, thank you, Kira. That's amazing. That's amazing. Guys, I know it is midnight, right? 11 o'clock. But let's make this session interactive. The more we talk to each other, the more questions. I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions so that you all are listening to me. But at the same time, if you have any doubts or questions, type those questions directly in the chat so that I can look at it. Make sure in the chat, there is a Zoom settings that either you talk to everyone or you talk to host and panelists, right? So please don't do host and panelists. Only I would be able to see those questions. I want everyone to see those questions. So please change your chat settings to everyone and not just the host and panelists. Okay, perfect. Now let's talk about what is Agile. And what does the Agile Alliance define about what Agile is? So first of all, Agile is the ability to change, right? So in this morning, when I looked at my calendar and I saw that the webinar is at 11 o'clock at midnight, where many people would be, almost in the sleeping time frame. I need to come up with the change. And that is when I decided that instead of sitting on a boring piece of chair talking about the topic, let me make a little bit of different, unique change so that I'm able to catch attention of everyone. And that was the whole goal. There was no other logic or anything of that sort. But I just wanted to catch everybody's attention. Now, what do people think about agile? People think that agile is incremental, iterative, fast. We get results very fast, right? That's how people think. There is no planning done in agile. There is no proper documentation. There is no management. There is no design. That is what the definition of agile is. Like, I mean, that is what people think agile is. But in reality, yes, agile is incremental. Yes, agile is iterative. But agile is not fast. Agile, you see the results faster, and that is more important. Then in agile, it's not about you don't create any documentation, you do documentation, but important, you only do the documentation which is needed, which is more like a mandatory kind of a thing. There is management, but the management is not like somebody telling you, hey, do this, hey, do that. No, the management is more in the power of servant leadership. The servant leadership is practice, and this is something which we will talk in detail as well. And there is planning, there is the progressive and the rolling wave planning, and emergent design. I won't say it is like no design. You emerge, you keep on changing the design. Gina said agile is getting feedback, welcoming change. Exactly, right? That is the whole thought process of agile is there are so many changes going on like every day. Like, and right now we're talking about AI, right? I don't know how many of you have actually started to use AI or not. If you have not, let me tell you, please start using it. Please, you yourself learn about agile. Oh, learn about AI. When you learn more about AI, you yourself will see that your time is cutting short. Like, you are actually learning so much about it. So same thing, right? You have to accept the changes which are coming and you would respect that. Okay, now let's talk about the Agile Manifesto. What does the Alliance says about Agile Manifesto? First is individuals and interactions over process and tools. Now, what do I mean by individuals and interactions? Before the start of this webinar, I told you one thing. What is that? Let's talk. Let's please make sure you type it on the chat. You give me feedback. I will ask you questions. Please do that. What was the? I don't want to follow a traditional process of, sitting, talking about few things at 11 o'clock where you feel that, oh, you know what? I want to sleep. I don't know why I'm here. That's not the thought I want to give you. Instead, I want to make sure that even though you're giving me 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour, whatever your time is, you learn something out of it. Because for me, learning is the most important thing. So it is about you, it is about people, it is about the interactions, individuals, because ultimately, whosoever is doing the work, these are people like you and I. We people deliver the work. And if we just follow a process or a tool, there is value out of it, but that's not the real value. The real value is people like you and me who are delivering something, right? So Agile says that we recommend individuals, people, interaction as compared to following a certain process or a tool. Second, it's about working software over comprehensive documentation. I would not say that there is no documentation is agile. There is, but it's not really about documenting ages, pages of pages of pages. It's more about show a prototype, create a working software, talk to, like, give it to the customer. That is in reality about the working software. Third, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Now, I deal with procurement a lot. I deal with so many vendors all the time, and in that dealing with, it's all about contract negotiation in the beginning, right? I'm going to pay you this much. So somebody will say, no, 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 we want this much. And the other way around, right? When I'm providing a service, we are on the negotiation. But in the end, I always say one thing, whether I'm a buyer or a seller, which for me is the most important thing. For me, I always say this, that in the end, it has to be a win-win. Win for you, win for me. And if we are delivering some value to the end user, they should be happy. So we both are in same team, making sure that we come up with something exciting. Like, for example, let me give an example of this webinar today, right? Over here, everyone, thank you, Ryan. That's exactly, everyone should win. And we both are in the same team, right? Like in this case, I am a speaker, which is a kind of a third party for the PMI KSA chapter. But it's not about what we have mentioned on the contract. It's really about that end users like Seher, like Rayan, like, you all should feel happy that I learned something valuable because it is about you. So it's more about the collaboration as compared to negotiation. Finally, it is about responding to change as compared to following a plan. If I would have followed a plan, which is a traditional when I do it, which is sitting, typing, discussing, making it more comfortable, I thought, I'm going to stand for this next 1 hour. What's a big deal if I stand for 1 hour? What if I come on a bike? What's a big deal in that? So I responded to a change as compared to following a traditional plan. Everybody does a traditional plan. What is different in that? That is the Agile Manifesto. And this is something which should be within yourself. And that is what you need to follow. Now, let's see. Okay, so let's talk about your agile teams. What all things, what is the expectation from people? Like, for example, it is self-organizing. And when I say self-organizing, what do I mean by that? Your manager will not tell you that, hey, do this job. No, it is self-organizing, which means if you have five team members will say that, okay, I'm good at this aspect. I'll probably pick up this. Can you help me with the other part? So someone else will pick up the work which they think they are good at. So it's more of a self-organizing. Nobody tells you to do this. It's more on your responsibility. You take the accountability to pick up that work. It's cross-functional. It's not just from one particular team. It's cross-functional, which means we have people from all different types of department team members working together on one single goal. Then transparency is all about be truthful. It's not that, hey, like for example, if I'm giving, delivering like a very important strategy, and I think that, if I use this strategy, it will make me world famous, or my entire organization will say that, oh, this is the best thing. If I just keep it to myself and don't think about my team or don't think about my organization, trust me, that's not going to be good. In the end, it will just be within yourself also. So be transparent, share with others, because I feel my dad, I didn't give my proper introduction also, but my dad is a retired professor and mathematics professor, and teaching is in my blood. And my dad taught me one thing, that Varun, always be transparent, and when you teach to others, you become better at it. So always be transparent. Share your unique things with everyone so that all of them can learn each other, learn from each other. Trust is the most important pillar, I would say, in Agile. You trust them. You trust them for each and everything. It's not like Agile is not an individual thing. Agile is more about team, working together, being transparent, truthful, trusting each other, and going from there, supporting each other, right? You all, like, if somebody cannot do this job because he or she has some work, that's fine. You go ahead and do that. Self decision making. You don't go to your boss and ask for approvals on this. No, it's self decision making. You have the authority, you have the power to take a decision and continuous improvement. You will have retrospective sessions, the lessons learned, where you go ahead and continuously improve and do something or the other. Now, two types of leadership we have in Agile. One is the adaptive leadership and the other is servant leadership. So let's go by each one of them. And before I even talk about adaptive leadership, how many of you know about Netflix? Type yes or no on the chat if you know what Netflix is. Type it on the chat if you know what Netflix is. Type yes or no on the chat. When I just want to make sure everybody is listening to me, that's why I asked this question. Come on. What is Netflix? Do you know what Netflix is? Let me ask. Everybody knows Netflix? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, fair enough. Yes, entertainment platform. Very good. Okay, so I'm assuming everyone on the chat who told me they know what Netflix is. Then you're talking to host and panelists, my dear. Change your settings. But yes, okay, fair enough. Thank you, Yusuf. Thank you. Now, how many of you know what uh, Blockbuster is? Do you know what Blockbuster is? Type yes or no on the chat. Blockbuster is not a movie, it's actually a platform too. But do you know what Blockbuster is? Type yes or no on the chat. No, yes, no, yes, very low, no, very long time, no, yes, yes, okay, no. right? So I'm kind of no. Yes, it was old before Netflix. Yes, Netflix. Yes, Yusuf. Absolutely correct, my dear friend. But see everybody knows Netflix. I mean, I don't think so. There was any single person over here who said that we don't know Netflix, right? But the moment I asked about Blockbuster platform, I saw a lot of no's. Why? Blockbuster was a similar platform, just like Netflix. But the only difference between Blockbuster and Netflix was Netflix is an online platform. Blockbuster was giving CDs to people so that they can rent a movie. They go back home and use that CD to watch a movie. They already had the dealership, the distribution. They had a big, massive customer base with them, both from the film industry standpoint and at the same time, they had the massive from the audience standpoint. But just see on this chat itself, people don't know what Blockbuster is. Why? Because Blockbuster failed. Because Blockbuster leadership was not adaptive leadership. They had to change. So adaptive leadership is where things change, you need to adapt to it and you need to change at all as well. So see, like Nokia. Has anyone used Nokia phone? Has anybody used Nokia phone? Type yes or no on the chat. Like I had a Nokia phone. I remember I used to play the snake. Has anybody used? Yes, Zen said yes. What about others? Yes, my first mobile, right? So Nokia was the first mobile, right? Okay, amazing, 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 right? Great, great, great. Now, do we still use Nokia? I mean, still Nokia is there. Yes. And Asserson, yes, Jeha, thank you. Yes, Mohammed, perfect, right? Now, see from this perspective, but who use Nokia right now? Who use BlackBerry? Nobody use BlackBerry, right? Now everybody they want either a Samsung or an Apple, right? That's Nokia replaced by this. Now same thing, compact Kodak. Who uses Kodak? I mean, uh, people use, Canon is a much more high quality brand that Kodak, but there was Kodak also. Blockbuster was replaced by Netflix because marketing issue. Kodak was the first camera before iPhone. Oh, amazing, man. Amazing. That was a long time ago. Yes, exactly. These are long time ago because these people, these organizations didn't adapt to a change. And when they didn't adapt to a change, they were obsolete. And same thing. That's the same thing I'm telling you. Please, please, please learn Agile. Please, please, please learn AI. These two are the biggest, I would say AI, more than I know I'm talking about Agile, but AI is one of the biggest thing that could have ever happened to this human mankind. And I'm not making this up. Learn it. Otherwise, we all would be obsolete. That's what it is. Okay, now adaptive. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent that survive. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. And that is where we have to think, which is we need to adapt to a change. If we don't adapt to a change, we'll probably be obsolete. We will be probably left behind. And that is a problem. We need to all, as an individual, as an organization, all have to adapt to this change. Now, that was adaptive leadership. The second very important leadership style is servant leadership. Now, what is servant leadership? Servant, to serve others, people first. That is the leader. The leader should put their team members first. They should put people first. So if a leader comes with that servant leadership mindset, who's putting their team first, putting their people first, that is what servant leadership is. Now, different types of agile roles. In the agile team, product owner. Who is the product owner? Type it on the chat. Do you know who product owner is? Who is a product owner? Who is a product owner? Does anyone know who product owner is? I know whosoever is working in agile, they know. Rest, Gina, what it is? Tell me. Give me a 5-6 line or not line, 5-6 words product definition for product owner. Customers. Okay. I won't say Khalid. I won't say voice of customer. Thank you, Mahmood. Thank you. Voice of the customer. One of the agile team, he's the customer voice. Thank you, Rehan. Exactly. The voice of the who own the product. Amazing. Who put the requirements or features. Amazing. Leader of the team. Role, I won't say leader of the team, but I would say from the perspective that voice of the customer, like who owns the product. That's how I would say that. Product backlog. Exactly. Whosoever owns the product backlog. Business side of the team. Amazing, Mahmood. Who will use the product? Mohammed, who will use the product will be more likely an end user, but who will develop that product will be the product owner. Representative of the customer. Amazing, Jihad. Amazing. Who will use? Amazing. Right. Love it. Development team, as the name suggests, the team who is developing the product. So product owner would be more like a business analyst who says that, okay, I want this product. And the development team will be the one who will develop that product for that product owner. Okay, responsible. Amazing. Thank you, sir. Agile coach. Who is an agile coach? Let's talk about agile coach. Type it on the chat. Who is an agile coach? Who is an agile coach? What do you think is an agile? Scrum master. Amazing, Hassan. Amazing. Scrum master is your agile coach. Somebody, and why? So agile coach is actually a pretty big, umbrella. What do I mean by that? Servant leadership. Amazing, Mahmood. I love your responses, Mahmood. You're amazing. The project manager, Jihad. Now, in this case, the project manager, Scrum Master may or may not be the project manager. It's not necessary, but it may be. Typically, I've seen in organizations where Agile is practiced, they do a dual role of Scrum Master and project manager, but you can say that. Facilitator, that's a good one. Mahmood said facilitator, that's amazing. So Agile coach is the facilitator who's making sure the meetings are done properly. They are following the Agile principles. And one of the example is Scrum Master. Now, Scrum Master is if the agile team is using Scrum methodology. But what if the if your organization is not using Scrum, they are using Kanban, they are using extreme programming, they are also some of the agile methodologies. So that is why the term agile coach is mentioned. But yes, if you're using Scrum, then agile coach will be your Scrum master or team lead facilitator. Exactly. Thank you, Gina. Thank you. Now let's talk about my favorite topic, which is fake agile, because lot of times we talk about agile a lot, and organizations want to move towards agile. Like they will first start with hybrid, and then from hybrid they will move towards the agile completely. It takes years and years. Still, I would say that 80 to 90% of the companies still follow a traditional waterfall model. Still, that's how it is currently. But there are companies who wanted that change and growing, wanted to see the results faster. So they preferred agile. In throughout this transition journey, what happened? In this, organizations told their employees that, hey, learn agile. These are the templates. This is the training which we are giving to you. Learn it and start implementing it. Or they will say that, okay, do the training yourself. And what are the employees doing? They will go on Google. They'll try to learn about Agile. And throughout this journey, whatever they think is correct, or whatever Google says that this is how Agile should be done, they think that that is the correct Agile, right? But that is not true. There are few things which may be correct, but at the same time, there are few things throughout the journey which you will learn wrong also. So let's talk about what is this fake agile, and type it on the chat. I want to know this. I want to know the answer to this question again. How many of you have agile experience, like they are managing projects using agile methodology? Type it again. I want to know that again, please. Because I have a follow-up question, so I want to make sure I know whosoever is currently working in agile. Okay, right? Yeah, many times. Great. Awesome. Uchina said yes. Okay, fair. Mosira, you're talking to host and panelists, not? Okay, Abdullah said yes. Okay, fair enough. Farah Jihad said no. Okay, well, good. Cannot do. Okay, Gina said cannot do. Okay, fair enough. So whosoever is saying yes to me that I have worked in Agile or I am working in Agile, I want to know the answer to my follow-up questions. And you need to understand that from that perspective. First of all, agile is not about that you're doing agile. Please don't take me that. It's more about being agile. Like your heart should tell that you know what, this is how agile should be done. Like for example, in this same example of coming on a bike, if I would have thought about what will people think, will it look professional and all those things, if I start thinking on that, then I'm not a true agile from my heart. I know that the value of things. I could have done a proper session where, okay, this is retrospective. This is your daily stand-up. This is your sprint backlog, your product backlog. I could have done a technical information session about agile as well, right? But no, we need to be agile. Be agile means that you believe in the values and principles of Agile. And hats off to you to join a webinar at this particular time. Why hats off to you? Because you truly believe in project management. You are really the true supporter of PMI. This just so in this case, you are actually being following that project management framework, and that is what is about. As being agile is the mindset. Thank you, Gina. That's exactly, it's a mindset. It's not about that, hey, let me use this tool, this agile tool, or let me use this particular technology or process and I will become agile. That is not agile. Agile is that you follow it. Okay. Now let's talk about the fake agile, which I was talking about. Like, first of all, management signs off on everything. Okay, how many of you, your management signs off on whatever work you are doing? Type yes or no on the chat. How many of you, your management has to sign off before it goes to the next stage? Type it on the chat. I want to know this. Nafisa said yes. Gina said yes. Okay. What about others? Come on, guys. Come on. Yes, yes. Jihad said yes. Okay. Mahmood said yes. Okay. Rayan said yes. Jihad. Okay. Yes. Seher said yes. Perfect. 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 Thank you. Thank you. Most of the time is yes, Mustafa. Right? Most of the time, if your management is coming on each and everything. Kareem, you're talking to host and panelist. Mohammed, you're talking to host and panelist. My dear, change the setting. If your management is coming on in signing off on most of the things, then this means it is not the true agile. That's micromanagement. In few cases, I won't necessarily call you, Seher, in this case, micromanagement, because sometimes the management has to approve it. But yes, in few cases, I would call this as micromanagement. But what I'm trying to say is the difference between fake agile and the true agile. In your true agile, management does not sign off on everything. In reality, you have the power as a team member to sign off and move to the next things. That's what it is. Thank you. Now, let's see what is other definition of this fake agile. Is feedback taken from the end user for every iteration? Okay, let me ask this question again. Now, I don't know where you all are working. Like, okay, let's talk about what all industry do you all work in right now? Type it on the chat. What is your current industry? What is your current industry? Which industry do you work in? Oil and gas, IT, healthcare. What is that? IT, construction, oil and gas. Okay, IT. Okay, perfect. IT, healthcare. Gina said. Okay, construction said Kareem. Power and water. Okay, Mohammed. Thank you. Perfect. So let's talk about this. Like power, construction, healthcare. I'm assuming you are working on a product, right? It could be anything, but it's a product. But do you really go and take feedback from the end user who will use that product? Do you really do that? Say yes or no on the chat. I mean, I am a PMP trainer, right? So I talk about project management, but I not necessarily go every time to the end user to take the feedback. Of course, I take feedback on few things, but I don't go for every iteration and take feedback from end user. Type it on the chat. Do you really go and take feedback from the end user? Not every time, Mohammed. Amazing. Exactly, right? That's what I do. But Agile says that take feedback for every iteration from the end user. If that's what you do, then you are following the true agile. Then you are being agile as compared to doing agile. That's what it is. Okay. Next. Okay. Next. Nafisa said yes. Amazing. Thank you. Can team member change their process based on what they learn? Okay. Now let's talk about how would you answer this question? Are you allowed to change your process because this is something which is not working out, or do you need a approval from your management? Say yes or no on the chat. Are you allowed to change the process? Yes, 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 they have to. Exactly. That's good. Adapt to change. Amazing. Nafisa said yes. Ala said yes. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Right. That's a good management. Mahmood said yes. Gina said yes. Ryan said yes. Amazing. Depends. Of course, Mustafa. That's a good answer actually, because it really depends upon the things, right? In few cases, yes. In some cases, may not. But if your management is okay to change the process because you think, then it's a good sign. It's definitely a good sign. Okay, good. Now, next one. This is my favorite. Going slow versus going fast. Now, let me ask this question. How many of you have know this person? And when I say know this person, I mean you have heard the name. Jeff Bezos. Do you know who Jeff Bezos is? Type yes or no on the chat. Do you know who Jeff Bezos is? No, said Mohammed. Okay. What about others? Do you know who Jeff Bezos is? Jeff Bezos, Mustafa said, yes, Amazon guy. Thank you, Ryan. Amazing. Amazon. He was like the founder of Amazon who, developed the Amazon platform. Yes, Amazon. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, Yusuf. Thank you, Mahmood. Perfect. Yes. So Amazon, Jeff Bezos. So he brought this concept of going slow versus going fast. Now, what do I mean by that? So basically, what was happening when Amazon came into the picture, it was like, I would say, it was it's one of the biggest product ever in this industry. Like Apple is one of them, right? Amazon is another example of that. And when Amazon came into the picture, the things were changing so quickly that they didn't really have time to breathe. That was the case with Amazon at that time. And because of this, what they were doing is they were, coming up with things, more and more and more and more. Now, let me see what G going slow to not face resistance from employees. Like, no, 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 Gina, that's not the case. I'm talking about something different actually. So what was happening? Their employers and they were coming up with so many changes. The customers were asking so many changes, right? End users because they want this feature also, this feature also. So it was like too fast, and Amazon was adapting to it, and that is why it grew like to what they were current, from there to now. But Jeff Bezos came into the picture and told that, guys, you have to be slow. You have to be slow here. Now, what do I mean by you have to be slow? Now, he took a backward approach. And that backward approach is it's not necessary that you launch things quickly. That is not. What is more important is that you really need to see the end user, see what they really want, and based on what the true feature or something which was truly valuable to them, that is only way you should launch. Don't just because customer is saying that we need to launch it, you quickly go ahead and launch it. And in this particular situation, this statement became very, very famous that the founder of Amazon is saying his team to go slow because they really wanted to give the true value, the correct value, the actual value which people deserve, and not just doing more and more and more and more things. So more does not necessarily means that it is good. Do something which is really valuable to people. So going slow versus going fast to observe customer reaction. Exactly, sir. That was the whole thought process. But the team was just quickly launch it because the requests were coming so quickly. So they said, slow down, come up with something which is better. Pace is significant. Exactly. Consumer behavior. And that is what he said. Consumer behavior. Understand the consumer behavior. Okay. Next one. It's product manager's job, not my job. Okay. Let me ask this question to you all. Let's say you're working on a project in your organization currently, and you're working with a developer, and the developer comes to you and says that hey, this is not my job. Management told me to do this and I'm doing it, or the product owner told me to do this, or XYZ told me to do this and that is why I'm doing it. How many of you face something like this? Say yes or no on the chat. How many of you have people in your organization, in your project, who say that this is not my job? They told me that is why I'm doing it. Even though it is wrong, but they're doing it just because someone else told them to do it. How many? A lot, said Gina. What about others? Every day, said Rayhan. Okay, this is not my job, right? Okay, what about others? Do you have people in your organization? If you say, no, I don't have people, I would say you are considerably working for the best company, I would say. Like, I mean, I have people right now, so I know that many people, right? Okay. Khalid said yes. Amazing. Ashad said yes. Many people, right? Okay, many. That is so wrong. If you see this image, follow the contract. Exactly, Mustafa said. Just follow the contract. Look at this image. What really happened? This guy who was, painting the street saw a tree is there, right? A broken cut tree is there. What he did, he actually said that instead of removing the tree from there and doing a straight line, he said that, you know what, this is not my job. And he did it like this. I mean, is this really what should have been done? It's not my job, right? I am doing my job. I am being paid to mark a line, and that is what I'm doing. That's it. We should have a racy chart. Yes, Mahmood, we should have it, but not everybody follows that, right? Convey the message to the responsible who has the final call. Escalate, scope creep, exactly, scope creep. Right. Great. Amazing. Thank you, everyone. Perfect. Now, fear of punishment, and failure. Now, this is another problem, and I want to know from you all. From your management perspective, Are you scared of your boss? I mean, boss as in, do you fear that, if I do something on my own and if it goes bad, it may go against me? Type yes or no. And you need to be truthful to yourself. These are not my questions. You need to be truthful to yourself. Mohammed said no. Are you afraid? No. Gina said, okay. Jihad said yes. Zen said no. Okay. Mahmood said no. Mohammed said no. Okay. Okay. Sometimes, Ryan. Okay, sometimes, right? Thank you. Thank you for being honest, right? Now, sometime is okay. Abdullah said yes. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Sometimes we are scared, right? If I do something on my own using my own thought process, and what if my management will say that, why did you do? Why didn't you ask me? Why did you waste your time, right? If that is what the case is, let me tell you. And again, I don't want to be sound pessimistic here. I want you to look for a change. Come up with something where you are free to speak up, free to share your opinions. Because if you're not free to speak up and you're not, your management doesn't respect what you are doing and delivering, and you can't even share your opinions with others, then that's a bad sign. That is not good for your growth. You need to have a growth mindset, which means come up. See, until unless you do things, you will not make mistakes. Make mistakes. From mistakes you will learn. What do you think? I'm over here giving this presentation, taught like thousands of people. I have not made mistake. I have made probably hundreds of mistakes, but I learn from it. I make sure that I don't repeat those mistakes. But my management gave me the power to speak up, and now kind of I'm the management. So, but still, right? That is how the mindset should be. Even they consider my expertise. Good, 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 amazing, amazing. That's a good thing. If they consider your expertise, they respect it. That's the good thing. Now, it's not really about fake agile or the true agile. It depends on your superiors and the culture, tolerant risk appetite. Exactly, sir. It depends on multiple things, right? It's not just about one aspect, as you mentioned. It depends on multiple things. What is the culture of the organization? How your management culture is? What is the risk appetite of that particular project, or what is the risk appetite of the organization? There are twofold. So, absolutely. Thank you. Amazing. Now, it's not necessary that you use this particular aspect, or you should not use agile. What do I mean by that? You need to understand first what are the different stages of product, and based on the different stages of product, you should take a decision that should we use agile or not. Okay. Now, so for that aspect, I really need to make sure that you understand that the product, how it starts and how it ends. Like, what is the end-to-end culture? Okay, now let's first talk about. So, when a product is built, the first stage is the ideation stage. Ideation stage is the stage where an exciting new idea appears, right? Exciting, like right now, everybody is so curious about AI, right? Everybody wants to learn about AI. That is your ideation stage. Now we have kind of crossed that ideation stage, I would say, because AI came into the picture almost last year. But it's an exciting new idea. Everybody wants to learn about AI, right? So that is your ideation stage, when a product, when an idea is actually, coming into the picture. Then from the ideation stage, you move to the steady stage. Now, what is that steady stage? Steady stage is shifting the focus from what to hide. How? What do I mean by that? Like currently, many of you know, I've heard this agile, but do you really know how this AI works? Type it on the chat. Do you really know how AI works? Type yes or no on the chat. Do you really know how AI works? Of course, it's a buzzword right now. Everybody is curious about it, but do you know how it works? Mohammed said no. Mohammed said no. Perfect. What about others? Do you really know how AI works? No. Yusuf said. Uchina said yes. Very good, Uchina. Good. Great. Great. What about others? Do you really know how AI works? I want to, because it's very important, and it's like the most buzzword, right? So that's why it's very important. I use it quite a bit. Amazing, Nafisa. I have some knowledge. Okay, Moshira, that's good. Some knowledge. Moshira, you're talking to host and panel. Kareem said yes. Okay, by collecting data and analysis, that's good. Mohammed, that's very good. But right now, for AI, I would still say we are in the ideation stage. People are curious about AI. They're trying to learn about AI. But slowly and gradually, you will see few people who are already in this steady stage. And what is this steady stage? Where the focus is shifting from what to how it works. how you can use AI in your life. And that is where most of the people are right now in this particular stage. That is where currently, I mean, I won't say most of the people, most of them still in the ideation stage because they have not accepted AI yet. But that is where many people have already moved to the steady stage. Now, from the steady stage, it will move to a commodity stage. Now, what is a commodity stage? Commodity stage would be more and more similar products will come into the business. Competition will increase. Right now, the definition of AI is chat GPT. That is what everybody knows. Chat GPT, chat GPT, chat GPT. But if you go really into the market, it's not just one chat GPT. There are other platforms also. Google is launching their product. Microsoft is launching their product. Facebook, Meta is launching their product. X, Twitter is launching their product. So basically, they all of them are coming about, are making their own products about AI, right? So competition is increasing. They want to have that early movers advantage. So when you are at that stage where you're not just talking about chat GPT, but you are talking about like 10 different platforms, that is when a commodity stage will come into picture. And let me tell you, this stage will come. This stage will probably, I would say, 2 years down the line, you will have a bunch of products who are probably doing the same thing or even better things on with the help of AI. Now, from the commodity stage, it will move to the everyday stage. Now, what is this everyday stage? Everyday stage is more about where somebody charges you based upon consumption. Like, for example, your petrol, your diesel, your gas, right? Or electricity. If you see, this is your everyday stage, and not every product reaches at that stage. Why? Because, like, for example, if you are uh, driving, let's say, 10 kilometers or 10 miles, you will have to pay X amount of, currency, whatever that currency is, X amount of Saudi riyal for this much kilometers or miles, right? That is how it calculates. So if you travel for 10 minutes, you pay this much for gas. If you travel for 1 hour, you pay this much for oil. Like, that's how it is. So that's your everyday stage. So typically, a product starts from the ideation stage, and ultimately the goal is at the everyday stage, that is where they should ultimately reach, right? Now, the real question is, should everything be about agile? There is nothing wrong about agile, or everything is wrong about agile. Now the real question is, when should we use agile? And that the answer to this question really depends upon the product, at which stage the product is. So when the first stage, let me give you the definition of agile, is the ability to create and respond to change, like how quickly you can respond to change. That is when agile should be used. If you see ideation stage, in this particular stage, agile will work best. Why agile will work best? Because there are so much uncertainties. People don't know what they really want, right? The person who is making it also doesn't know what they are actually delivering. And as Mohammed mentioned, scope is not well defined. Exactly, right? When you are not 100% sure of the requirements, undefined scope, when you're not. So that is when is that stage? That is really your starting stage, when we don't have a clear result of product. Yes, if we have many changes. Thank you, Rola. Thank you, sir. And when does this happen? When you are in the beginning stages of a product life cycle, where there are so much uncertainty, scope is constantly changing. When if you are dealing with that kind of environment, it's always better to use agile, because there is a saying in agile: fail fast. If you want to make mistakes in the beginning so that you can learn from it and move on. That is what it is. Want early business value. Good, good. Now, we moved from ideation stage to steady stage, and from steady stage to commodity stage, right? So in steady, it's not more about how you are doing the things. Commodity is like, like competition is increasing. So it's more about features and all. At that particular time, don't use agile. Why? At this time, use lean methodology. Why you should use lean? Because if competition is increasing, you really want to make sure that your product is better. And if your product is better, you're not making mistakes. You are avoiding the waste, unnecessary extra things. You are avoiding all those things. That is where lean works best. And finally, if you are in the everyday stage, always prefer to use Six Sigma, process improvement, because at this point of time, it's more about the reliability. Like, for example, the oil which we are using or the electricity, it should be reliable, right? We should have oil all the time. We should have electricity all the time. It should not, it should, like, we shouldn't face challenges where there is no electricity, right? That is all about reliability. So in everyday stage, talk about process improvement, talk about Six Sigma, because that is what your goal should be, which is all about reliability and reproducibility, which means to have more and more and more efficiency, as Seher mentioned. Exactly. Very good. Now, and I always say this, this is my favorite statement, that agile is currently spreading like a wildfire. It's spreading like a fire, if you ask me. However, whereas it should not be spread like a fire, it should be spread like a good perfume. There is a saying, and I always say this saying, that my mom, when she cooks, my favorite dish, when I used to be at home and I could, like feel that, that fragrance of my mom cooking something very special for me. That was the most beautiful thing. Like, I mean, not most, I would say one of the most beautiful thing, because that is for me very valuable. It should be that smell, it should be that fragrance, and not like a bad smell where, everybody is doing it without using your actual brain. So that's me. Thank you so much for joining today, where we talked about there is nothing wrong with being agile, or everything is wrong about agile. So make sure you use agile based upon what really, in what particular stage your product are. Like COVID. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time today. If anyone has any questions, now is the time to ask me those questions. I hope you liked it, you enjoyed it. I know it's already midnight. I hope you learned something valuable today. Thank you, Rayan. Thank you, Zahid. Thank you, Kareem. Thank you, Alsad. Thank you so much. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you. Any plan for AI? Of course, I have a plan for AI. I'm coming up with a plan. It was great. Thank you, Abdullah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Amazing. Thank you. I'm going to send you. Awesome. Perfect. Once again, thank you so much. Perfect. PDU claim code. Thank you, Mayor. You have great energy. Thank you so much. Thank you. Perfect. Perfect. Amazing. 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 Thank you so much. Omer, over to you, my dear friend. Anything else?
Thank you very much, Mr. Varun. It's a very interactive, and I really enjoy your presentation and webinar. Thank you very much for your sharing
Thank
experience to
you.
us. Thank you,
Amazing. Amazing.
everyone.
One of the best
So we're
webinars. Thank
closing
you.
it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye, guys.